And right away, we have a numbers game that sounds simple but is anything but simple. The court is trying to establish exactly what the current support order says because one number can completely change the outcome. Notice the judge isn't relying on emotion or accusations here. The focus is on the actual written order, the existing obligations, and what is legally enforceable. But there's already tension brewing. One side says the filing is retaliation while the other is asking the court to modify support. So the big question is this really about money or is there something bigger happening behind the scenes?
He agreed, and you agreed, Your Honor. And this whole filing is a complete gross waste of judicial time. He's upset over me pursuing the quadro that was filed. The last contact I had with Mr. Impson was the week of October 15th of this year, asking him to sign his required documents. He refused. He said, have fun paying child support.
And ma'am, you are muted.
Honey.
Okay, so this is volume 4. This motion is only for child support. Currently, there is a 0 order, right, Ms. Reed?
Yes, Your Honor. But I think the current order is from January of 2025 for the 1793. I think that's the most current order. That's what we show.
But which also
The
has
order
an
was
order
0
for mother to
before that.
pay $560 a month, right?
Is that in the same order?
Yeah.
Let me pull it.
Now, it says that father's obligation to pay support of $2,353 is offset by mother's monthly support obligation of $560. Net
So-
$1,793 to be enforced by
what we were billing.
DCSS.
Yeah, that's what we were billing was the
Okay,
17.
and so now the order is
Now the hearing takes a dramatic turn. She's openly accusing her ex of filing this case as retaliation after she pursued a QDRO involving marital retirement assets. That's a serious allegation, but here's the important legal distinction. Even if a filing feels retaliatory, that doesn't automatically make the request legally invalid. The judge still has to look at the child's needs, both parents' financial circumstances and the applicable support order.
0 for dad and $563 for mom.
Here.
Now, it may be that they're not enforcing that because he may not have opened a case to have them enforce. The calculation that I have currently says that the that the child support should go down to $473 a month. And then Riley is now 15 and a half years old. So it's going to be 2028, June of 2028 before Riley emancipates, right?
Yes.
On track, sophomore in high school now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay. And I'm sorry to keep you guys waiting. We've had a bad morning. And there are no arrears, correct? Owed by the father?
Correct.
So the start date on this will be November the 1st. And do you have a case open or no?
There is a case open, yes.
Are you enforcing currently?
Let me see what we've loaded on.
Are they taking money from you, ma'am?
No, I haven't received anything. I don't even live in the state of California anymore. I don't work at the same job. Everything's completely changed. This is all brand new to me because the last orders that you had ruled in January of this year was that, once Skyla, she turned 18, she emancipated out. And then Mr. Impson agreed, he didn't need anything. He didn't need my help. So we're going to pay anything. Everything was going to be zeroed out. This, Your Honor, is a retaliatory file because
and
he's
I'm sorry,
upset.
you're right. It wasn't. It was 0 for Riley. We did zero that out.
Yeah,
Then.
he agreed, and you agreed, Your Honor. And this whole filing is a complete gross waste of judicial time. He's upset over me pursuing the quadro that was filed. The last contact I had with Mr. Impson was the week of October 15th of this year, asking him to sign his required document.
And there it is, the judge has had enough of the back and forth. The court is essentially saying, if you two can resolve these personal disputes yourselves, do it outside this courtroom. That's a major courtroom lesson. A child support hearing isn't the place to relitigate every argument from the relationship. The judge has now set the monthly amount and the parties will receive the order. But the next few seconds show exactly why this case is far from emotionally settled.
He refused. He said, have fun paying child support. And this file for today's date was filed October 22nd. It's nothing up to me. This is all
Okay.
retaliation.
Okay.
Mr. Impson makes significantly higher amount than I do. He makes well over almost $300,000 a year. I make $17 an hour working full time. Starting January 19th, I'll be a full-time student where everything's going to change. Luckily, my fiance will be helping me financially, but this is a complete burden to myself and to the courts.
In the child's best interest that you help pay some of the bills. I pay for
That's
two
fine.
rooms
You can
over
ask
here.
me for it too. I've
And
never been one time
you won't-
asked, hey, can you pay for something? Not one time.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, we could bring up those text messages too.
I would
You've never
love
paid
to
for
see that.
one thing.
No, we can't.
Just pay your share. That's it. I paid my share. Pay yours.
So actually, the support is 430. And you becoming a full-time high school student, or student, not high school, obviously, does not necessarily reduce your child support to zero.
I'm not saying it should reduce anything. It changes my income significantly
But
from what
that's by
I.
your choice.
Exactly.
I'm trying to better myself. We were in court. This has been
But we
going on
just
for.
talked about when the child's going to emancipate. So you go into a 2 to 3 year or 4 year program to better yourself.
Mhm.
You're no longer obligated to provide support for this child. And so you are setting yourself up for having no income to provide support for the child during the remaining years of the child's minority, which is not appropriate.
So what happened to the ruling of earlier this year where he agreed? This is not out of a necessity.
It's
This is
child
a
support.
financial.
It's
And I-
always
and I-
modifiable.
I get that. I understand that. But my issue is this is him retaliating because he's mad that I am trying to go after the marital
He's
agreement.
entitled to ask for child support for whatever reason.
Okay, but I haven't seen his, nobody's asked me to fill out any income and expense form. I have not updated anything. Nobody asked me for any type of
Ms.
documentation.
Reed, where did you get the information about her income? Well, actually, the information I am using is what you just told me.
$17.
$17 an hour.
Yeah.
2,080 hours a year, correct, Your Honor?
Well, the 40 hours a week.
Divided by 12. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah.
So I have to come back to court when I start school, which I don't even know if I have time for that because he wants like
wait,
what,
wait,
$10
wait,
per week?
For what?
I
You made your
think
choice.
stop, sir. I think what I just told you is don't think that just because you're going to reduce your income because you're going to go to school full time and not be able to work is going to result in my determining that your support should change to zero because you don't have any income. If you've got the ability to make that lifestyle choice that you can be a full-time student and have all of your needs met, and that I should find that that means you have no ability to provide any assistance for this child, that isn't going to happen.
I'm not saying that I don't need to pay anything. Mr. Empson has not one time come to me and been like, hey, can you pay for this?
He's
need
not
help with
required
this."
to. He's not required to.
So it's just surprise, let me see you in court. We could come to an agreement.
Well, then do.
We just did.
Do it outside of court.
You.
Do it outside of court. Don't involve us in your squabbles.
I would
Nope,
love
nope.
to.
No, that's not accurate. We don't talk or co-parent at all. She refuses to respond to me. I want everything to go through
Okay.
Department of Child Support Services, please.
430
Yeah, of
it
course.
is. Okay, thank you. You'll get a copy of the order.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So they're going to take $430 out of my check every.
Month. Whatever,
Your Honor, may I read?
however often you get paid, if it's twice a month, then it's going to be $215 per check.
Okay, well then you know what? That's the case. Then we need to start seeing her. I need to start seeing her. He is not allowing me to see her. I've talked to
Allow
her.
you?
I've talked to her
But
multiple
no,
times.
sir, you don't have to say anything, and please
And
don't.
Okay. Can I leave,
And
Your
I'm
Honor?
sorry, I said, didn't I just say please don't? If you get a change in the custody arrangement, come back and see me. Until then, this is
Such
what
a
it is.
waste of time. Waste of
All
time.
right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, bye.
California is.
And now we get the final twist. The moment the $430 monthly obligation is announced, the father immediately raises a completely different issue: visitation. But the judge shuts that down because custody and parenting time require their own legal process. This is an important distinction. Paying child support does not automatic.